Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Make It Prize Strategies Track Overview webinar. This is for the Strategies Track Round 2, Phase 1 Engage. The Facilities Track webinar was conducted earlier today, and a recording will be posted on HeroX in the coming days. We should have a link for the Facilities HeroX that we can post in the chat box. Just a quick overview, this Make It Prize was developed by the Office of Technology Transition in partnership with the Office of Clean Energy Demonstrations and Energy Efficiency and Renewable Energy Office. With me today are my colleagues Andrew Bray with the Office of Clean Energy Demonstrations and Becca Simkowitz with the Office of Technology Transition. We have some housekeeping to take care of. Just so everyone knows, this webinar is being recorded. If you run into any issues, can't attend the full thing, or want to share it with others later, we will be posting a link to this in the strategies resources page. For questions, we will be having a Q&A session at the end of the presentation. You'll notice by the chat box, there's also a Q&A box. Feel free to put any questions in there as we are presenting, and we will address the questions after the presentation. Finally, if you have any technical issues, please check your audio tab to see if there are any settings you can adjust to make sure that you can see and hear everything. As a reminder, we'll be posting the recording of this later, so if something goes wrong, you will still have access to this information. Here's our agenda for today. I'll be spending the next hour or so reviewing the following points. First, I would like to give a brief overview of the American Made Challenges program as context for this prize. I'll do a big picture overview of the Make It Prize and the due dates for that. We'll do a deep dive into the submission requirements so that you know exactly what is being asked of you as a potential competitor and what those pieces entail. We will talk about the strategies track. I will pass it over to Becca from the Office of Technology Transition and Andrew Bray from the Office of Clean Energy Demonstration to give an overview of the history of Make It, provide some context for how this prize came to be, and how it fits into the work at DOE. And then we'll dig into prize information. I'll discuss eligibility requirements to make sure that everyone knows what those are so that they can take part in the prize. We'll talk about timelines, what you need to register your team, and how to submit your materials. Finally, I'll discuss the reviews and what those look like so you know what our judges will be scoring on. And finally, I'll provide you with some support and resources. We will be doing a virtual Q&A, like I said before, so please send us your questions in the chat, and we will post answers for everyone to see in the coming days on the HeroX website. So the goal here today is that you leave this session with the full understanding of the prize, what it entails, how to compete, and to know if this is the right prize for you to compete in. Here I want to give an overview of the American Made Challenges program. American Made Challenges is what we call the fast track to the clean energy revolution. This program is funded by the Department of Energy and is managed here at NREL. This prize is one of more than 70 prizes that focus on getting innovators and entrepreneurs a fast track to getting funding so that they can change the trajectory of clean energy here in the United States. American Made Challenges started with one prize about 5 years ago. And since then, we have distributed more than $260 million in cash prizes and support and have more than 450 network members who are different organizations across the country that work to support these different prizes. Here, I'm going to pass it over to my colleague, Becca Simkowitz.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for joining us. My name is Becca Simkowitz. I am a commercialization program manager in DOE's Office of Technology Transitions. And first of all, I just want to, again, thank you for your interest and hopefully participation. Our office and the entire department, all of our colleagues are extremely supportive of you and the work that you'll do as part of this prize. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the manufacture of advanced key energy infrastructure technologies, or MAKE IT prize. The overall goal of MAKE IT is to catalyze domestic manufacturing to enable replication and commercial liftoff of clean energy demonstration projects. So moving manufacturing facilities for specific critical clean energy technology components from planning to being shovel ready for construction, as well as enabling communities to prepare strategies that can help attract manufacturing activity to their region. The prize is doing this through a couple of different approaches, which are encompassed in our 2 tracks. There's about $30 million in prizes available across these tracks, which are related but quite different in terms of audience, timeline, and structure. The next slide, please. So a little bit more here about the strategies track. The goal of the strategies track is to build interest and engagement around manufacturing clean energy technologies and expand the potential for more clean energy jobs and economic opportunity. So through this prize, teams will work to develop a roadmap. So like a strategic plan to establish additional clean energy manufacturing in their region. And teams are eligible to compete for up to $400,000 in prizes. And then before we get into the details, I'll share a little bit of background about how this prize came to be and the specific offices behind it. So the Office of Technology Transitions has launched this prize in collaboration with the Offices of Clean Energy Demonstrations and Energy Efficiency and Renewable Energy. So the mission of the Office of Technology Transitions is to expand the commercial impact of DOE's research investments and to, in general, drive private sector uptake of new promising clean energy technologies. And unfortunately, nobody from the Office of Energy Efficiency and Renewable Energy was able to join today. So I'm going to speak on behalf of my EERE colleagues for a moment and just share a little bit about their mission. So they're working to accelerate the research, development, demonstration, and deployment of technologies and solutions that can equitably transition America to net zero greenhouse gas emissions by no later than 2050, as well as ensure that the clean energy economy benefits all Americans, creates good paying jobs for the American people, especially workers and communities impacted by the transition, and those historically underserved by the energy system and overburdened by pollution. And with that, I will hand it over to my colleague, Andrew Bray, from DOE's Office of Clean Energy Demonstrations.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Andrew Bray. I work on program development at Office of Clean Energy Demonstrations. We often refer to as OCED. And wanted to express really how critical this prize is to what we're trying to accomplish. We believe that these critical components and the manufacturing ecosystem is crucial for some of our larger big demonstration projects. So OCED was established 3 years ago in 2021. It was funded by $26 billion in bill funding. And overall, the mission is to support new demonstrations in collaboration with the private sector for first of a kind clean energy infrastructure. So this being a key part of that infrastructure. And what happened is we really realized the need for the acceleration of industry as a whole if we want to complete our liftoff goals. So appreciate all the work being done with this prize. Realize it's a large task and there's a lot to be accomplished, but really see it as critical to the mission and goals of what OCED is trying to accomplish. So look forward to seeing the submissions. Thank you.
Hey, Thanks, Andrew. So just a little bit more about the background on this prize. So this prize is run by the Bipartisan Infrastructure Law through the Technology Commercialization Fund. So the Technology Commercialization Fund was established by Congress in the Energy Policy Act of 2005, and it states that DOE should use 0.9% of its research, development, demonstration, and commercial application funding to promote promising energy technologies for commercial purposes. And the Technology Commercialization Fund is administered by the Office of Technology Transitions. So when Congress passed the Bipartisan Infrastructure Law in November 2021, which provided about $62 billion in new funding to support all sorts of clean energy activities and programs, we determined that, or not we, but it was determined that 0.9% for RD and D and commercial application funding also applies to here to bill. So the TCF also applies to bill. So this has led to kind of a suite of activities, of which Make It is one. And under this bill, TCF programming, OTT pursues activities that broadly support the commercialization of promising energy technologies while simultaneously enhancing and improving American infrastructure, competitiveness, opportunity, and equity, and addressing the climate crisis. So we do this by working collaboratively across many different partners across the Department of Energy. So we're really looking to, through this work, cultivate a broader innovation network around bill provision activities to enable faster replication and scaling of demonstration projects. So, and with that, I believe I will hand it back to Rachel.
Thank you, Becca and Andrew. So the strategies track phase overviews. Like I said at the beginning, this webinar is for phase one engage. In phase one, competitors will submit a brief narrative describing the team, region, potential elements for the roadmap, and a plan to engage their broader community. The plan is to bring clean energy manufacturers to their community or region. In phase two, the competitors will submit a concept roadmap and provide a comprehensive list of stakeholders that they plan to meet with to present the opportunities for clean energy manufacturing. At this point, the competitors are strongly encouraged to work with the facilities track to identify synergies between the two tracks, to identify manufacturers that are looking for places to build their facilities. In phase three, activate, competitors submit the final roadmap. It's consolidated feedback that the team received from the manufacturers and impacted communities. And hopefully we would like to see one letter of support or a letter of commitment from manufacturers that are interested in establishing their manufacturing center in that region. So this is developing a strategic plan for how to attract clean energy manufacturing and subsequently economic development, jobs to your region. So it is working with the communities. The roadmap should outline the vision and the steps you plan to take to get there and how those will benefit the residents of the region. The official rules document can be found on the HeroX page under the Resources tab. We will place that link in the chat for you as well. It is vitally important that you read the official rules for the prize before submitting your proposal. It outlines everything that we are looking for in successful proposals and gives you outlines for what needs to be submitted. Next, I want to discuss the eligibility. As you can see, private entities, consortia, academic institutions, non-governmental organizations, and non-federal government entities are all available. I do want to note that private entities must be incorporated and maintain the primary place of business in the United States. The competition is open to entities that work to promote clean energy technology, manufacturing, economic development, and growth in their region. Academic institutions as well must be based in the United States, and a single entity may submit only one application as the lead competitor for this track. Entities may participate as part of a team on multiple applications, but you can only be the lead on one. So the the strategies track structure. Phase 1, engage. Competitors are going to submit a narrative describing their team, region, and potential elements that they would like to include in their engagement plan. Approximately 30 winners across both tracks will be awarded $50,000 each. Those that are selected in phase 1 will move on to phase 2, create, where competitors submit a concept roadmap, which includes the results of their community engagement, a list of potential manufacturers for their region. And from that, approximately 20 winners will be awarded $100,000 each across the 2 rounds of competition, and will advance to phase 3, activate. In phase 3, competitors submit their final roadmaps and demonstrate commitment from at least one entity interested in establishing clean energy manufacturing in their region. Approximately 8 winners from that phase will be awarded $250,000 each across both rounds of competition. So the number of winners for each phase is across both rounds. In round 1, phase 1, 13 winners were selected, so approximately 17 winners could be chosen in round 2, phase 1, which is this round. Of the winners, so these are the 13 that were selected in round 1. Here's the map of who they are and where their project is located. More information and their public slide are available in the Strategies HeroX page under the Resources tab. So I want to walk through the timeline for this prize. We'll return to this image a couple of times throughout the presentation. We are running 2 rounds of the strategies track. Each round consists of those 3 phases that I just discussed. Once you are competing in round 2, you have to stay in that track. You can't jump back to round 1. So if you find out in round 2, phase 1, that you are selected, you cannot submit for round 1, phase 2, even though that deadline is after the acknowledgement of winners for round 2, phase 1. You have to stay within round 2 to continue competing. So let's look at what phase 1 engage competitors need to submit and what this timeline looks like. So again, we're going to dive into details on round 2, phase 1. There are 4 elements to the phase 1 engage submission, and they are the summary slide, cover page, narrative, and letters of support. The goal here is to get a brief description of the team and a plan for developing the roadmap to bring clean energy manufacturing to your region. So this is the plan for the roadmap and not the complete roadmap itself. We're looking to see communities that are working to attract clean energy manufacturing organizations to their region. The lead on these submissions should be working with their broader community, building interest and engagement around clean energy manufacturing, developing strategies to attract the clean energy manufacturing to their region. We're not looking to see manufacturing-based proposals where the submission is centered on one company or one technology. We really want to have a broad roadmap to attracting a range of different clean energy opportunities. Additionally, any activities intended to lobby local, state, or federal government to adopt new laws or policies are not eligible for this and will not be considered for funding. The narrative section for phase one, we have provided a template for that. It is in the HeroX resources tab and should be linked in the comments. Each section of this does not have a word count, but the aggregate document should not exceed 2,000 words. We'd like to see you introduce your team or different organizations that you're sharing this project with, the mission, vision, and goals that align with this project. Demonstrate that you have the experience to promote the domestic economic development or supporting domestic manufacturing, and defining the region where this project is located. We want to know that you have an understanding of the socioeconomic needs and discussing the region. We want to know if it's a disadvantaged, overburdened, or underserved community, all of which are defined in the official rules document. We want to know your commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion, and we'll be looking to see that the team developing this matches the demographics of the region that it's representing. We're also looking at opportunities to repurpose shuttered facilities, develop brownfield sites, or re-equip current production lines for the purpose of manufacturing clean energy technology. We'd love to know if you're already in discussions with clean energy manufacturing, and then identify potential clean energy technologies that you could bring to your region. When we say that we also want meaningful community engagement, that means that the community engagement needs to be able to impact the decisions that are being made about this project and this scope of work. You can include things like customized business services for clean energy manufacturers. Is there regional infrastructure that can be leveraged? Do you have unique regional resources such as education, industry, social or cultural, or workforce development programs? So these are things to consider when submitting this narrative. The summary slide is required and will be made public, so please don't put anything on there that you don't want the public to see. You can see, like I said, the winners of round one. They are posted in the resources tab. And then letters of support at this phase are optional but encouraged. The phase one assessment has 3 components: the team composition, capabilities, and experience. And we'll look at who is on the team and if they have the background and expertise to successfully complete the future requirements of the prize. We want to see that the team is representative of the region that they are proposing and has focused on regional economic development. We want to see regional understanding, including defining the region, a SWOT analysis of bringing clean energy to the community, understanding supply chain needs, and who will benefit from bringing clean energy manufacturing to the community. With community, tribal, and labor engagement, this is where the competitor outlines a plan to meaningfully engage with stakeholders in a way that can impact project decisions. It will address the Justice 40 initiative, also outlined in the official rules, and acknowledge potential negative and positive outcomes of the plan on the community. Winners of phase one will move on to phase two create, where competitors will submit a concept roadmap and provide a comprehensive list of stakeholders with whom they plan to meet to present the opportunities for clean energy manufacturing in their region. Strategies track round 2 phase 2 will open in May and have a final deadline in November of this year. While your focus right now should be on phase 1, I want to talk to you about the rest of the prize at a high level so that you know what to expect over the course of the year. With phase 2 create, you will need the cover page, concept roadmap, the engagement results for the community engagement efforts that you've done, the summary slide that's updated, a potential manufacturer outreach plan. This could be a list of potential manufacturers and then letters of support. The goal for this is to have a plan for the roadmap that is more defined, and that you demonstrate engagement with the regional partners and identify potential manufacturing partners. Winners of phase 2 will be able to move on to phase 3 activate. Competitors will submit their final roadmap, consolidated feedback that the team received from manufacturers in the impacted communities, and provide at least one letter of commitment for manufacturers interested in establishing a manufacturing facility in their region. Phase 3, round 2 will go from December of this year to June of 2025. And includes the cover page roadmap, summary of the manufacturer outreach, one letter of commitment, supporting documentation, the public summary slide, a live pitch presentation, and then the pitch session slide deck. The goal here is to provide the final roadmap document and demonstrate that you have received commitment from at least one private entity to establish a clean energy manufacturing facility. Again, I want to highlight that this prize is looking for communities that have examined what business services they could offer clean energy manufacturers. Their regional infrastructure can be leveraged with their education, workforce development, industrial or social programs that they have.
Okay, great. Yeah, maybe the next step would be
Finally, I want to share with you how to access more information on the prize and where to submit, as well as partners we have that can help. This is the HeroX page. We will also drop this link in the chat. You'll want to click on Solve this challenge or begin entry, sign in or create a HeroX account. You'll need to agree to the terms of use, confirm your email address, and accept the challenge-specific agreement. You will need to submit your statement of intent before the deadline, February 15th, 2024, 5 p.m. Eastern. So the summary, these are the tabs along the bottom on the HeroX page. The summary gives an overview of what the strategies track is looking for. The timeline tells you where we're at in the upcoming deadlines, as well as the judging periods. Updates provides updates from the Make It Prize team. This is where we will post winners, we will post news announcements, and post any other information that is important for our competitors. The forum is where competitors can go to ask public questions that others might have. Teams is where you can see the number of teams that are competing or are following the program. You can also see the winners of round 1, phase 1. And then resources provides the official rules, the slides from the round 1, phase 1 winners, and the templates that are provided and mentioned in the rules. The frequently asked questions has the frequently asked questions and will include questions from today's webinar, and we will post an updates once those are loaded in the frequently asked questions. I want to share with you about how to access more information on the prize and a partner that we have to help you. So American Made Challenges team has assembled a core group of incubators, universities, and other industry organizations who perform critical program tasks, including recruiting teams, hosting events, and providing assistance for this national prize competition. These are highly skilled partners and are here to assist our competitors, and we call them our power connectors. So the power connector for assisting with the facilities, or the strategies track, apologies. The strategies track is the Clean Energy Business Network. You can schedule a one-on-one meeting with them through the link provided in the chat. And we highly encourage you to do this. They have set aside time. It is a free resource for you, and they can work with you on answering questions, on reading through the rules, anything that you need help with, they are here to support you. We hosted the facilities track webinar earlier today. We will be posting in the facilities track HeroX page, which is also linked in the strategies track HeroX page. Excuse me. And you can connect with members from the other track using the Teams and Forum tabs. As time goes on with the prize, we will be hosting formal opportunities for the two prizes to connect. So the next steps, recruit. We want to make sure that you have your team members, community partners, and local organizations. You need to register your team on HeroX. Please read the rules, plan your participation, leverage your resources, and compete by submitting your proposal by February 15th. So now I want to remind you to get your questions in via chat, and then we will be answering these and then posting the answers in HeroX in the coming days. Carly, do we have some questions coming in?
Yes, it looks like we have just a few. We've already answered one, but there's a few left in here. So can a private entity be an LLC? You mentioned must be incorporated, which could mean it needs to have a corporation designation.
Yes.
Perfect. There is a question in here that asks to provide some examples of a consortia.
Sure. So consortia is an association of different groups or entities. So a couple examples of consortia I've encountered in my own life, I can think of our consortia of different colleges and universities, or sometimes businesses will get together to form a consortia.
Great, thank you, Becca. I also have a question here, Rachel, that could be specific and needs to take offline, but I'll go ahead and read it now. My team submitted to round 1 and was declined an award. I see that my region of focus is not part of the awardees from round 1. Should that encourage me, or should that encourage one to apply again to round 2?
Mm-hmm.
I think I'll defer to Becca on this.
Okay. I mean, we can't weigh in on any specific applications, but I would say that competitors in general are invited to resubmit for round 2, but they should consider any feedback that they received as part of their original submission. And if you have more questions about your individual situation, we do have the Power Connectors as a resource who can help you on a case-by-case basis.
Perfect, that's great guidance, Becca. There is a link in the chat to sign up for those times with Yet To as well. All right, our next question here. Is it important to include local organizations like a trade organization as a team member, or can they be referenced as an entity that would be contacted as part of the roadmap?
No specific types of partnerships are required, but we do encourage folks to make sure that their team is sort of inclusive of their stakeholders.
All right, our next question here. Where can the letter of intent be submitted? Is that the same as the HeroX application?
So all of your submissions are completed through HeroX. The statement of intent is specifically for the facilities track. So I think that we can maybe pop a link to that track if that's what you're interested in. Open this up if anybody else has further thoughts, but I guess to the point of this, all submission materials should be sent through HeroX.
Great, thanks, Becca. Our next question here. If you received no feedback from round 1, how do you acquire it?
Please email the Make It Prize at nrel.gov.
Perfect. And I'll drop that email in the chat as well. Our next question here, how is the prize money distributed? Is it taxed or are there other holdbacks?
Yeah, I think generally this is gonna have to be something you talk with your tax advisor on, unless Rachel, do you have anything to add?
I don't have insight on that, but I can check with our team and we can answer this in the written FAQ.
Great, thank you guys. Our next question here, do you have to list every person on the team in the submission and summary slide? Also, the system does not allow members to join other teams. I think that was more of a comment for HeroX.
So these are the, I mean, we don't need every single person, but the people who are leading the project should be listed on the cover page at the very least.
And again, the power connectors can provide support on individual submissions if you have a question.
Rachel, those were all of our questions. If we want to maybe give another minute or two for anyone to ask a follow-up question. Oh, yeah, let's see, we had one pop up. What level of detail is needed for the team member experience? Is a full resume recommended, for instance?
I think that this is another one where it's a little bit specific. There is some guidance in the rules document as to what to provide for each team. So I would recommend referencing that.
Okay, those were all of our questions. Rachel, if you wanted to give it another minute, but otherwise, I think you're good to go.
All right, wonderful. Thank you everyone for attending. If you do have other questions, please email the makeitprize@nrel.gov email and we will get back to you. And again, I appreciate all of you coming to this today and hope to see your participation in this prize.